Millennial 2020 is all about the future of marketing, but what is marketing going to look like, at least marketing technology, in 5 years' time? Well, Andy Culligan, before we answer that question, where is marketing technology now, would you say?
Marketing technology is at the point now where there's a lot of noise. There's an awful lot of point platforms, a lot of point solutions, all coming from different areas, and marketers need to digest an awful lot, right? Me, I'm a marketer, right? Sometimes I feel a bit like a data scientist. Getting a huge amount of data coming in from lots of different platforms, and I somehow need to interpret it, okay? That's not feasible, that's not scalable for the future, right? Going forward, we need to be able to scale that, because me as a human, I'm not able to sit there and say, okay, let me segment my database based on 10 different point solutions with lots of different data and different data points coming in. I need to be able to rely on something that's going to be able to do that for me.
So you talk about the huge amounts of data out there and all the different ways of communicating with potential customers. How do you do it in such a way that you're not overwhelmed by all those choices and programming different campaigns?
So you, as a marketer, me and my team, what I try to preach to them is let's try to fix as much of this information into one system, okay? Having one single point of let's say, truth is what I call it, right? And that sort of solves the problem of having all of these different platforms that you're trying to interpret results from, okay? By having everything flowing into one spot, you can make sure that you're using that data with that one tool to, first of all, interpret data, and second of all, execute on it, okay? So what do I mean by execute? It means using certain marketing channels, so let's take, for example, email, SMS, push notifications, right? What we do is we build out unique customer profiles on every single customer that you have, right? Take all of the data that's flowing into all of those different customers, okay? And then we find some meaningfulness in that data, and then execute based on whatever platform is most likely to go to get them to convert.
So all of this data,
yep.
How do the creative bit of marketing make sure that they don't get lost in all of this? You can't have a separate creative campaign for all these tens of millions of different consumers.
So first of all, it always goes back to the personalization side of things. Us as marketers, we want the person receiving the message to be receiving a personalized message, okay?
That's old hat, we know that.
We know that. But what the new concept is this human-driven personalization doesn't scale. It's impossible to scale it. It's impossible for me as a marketer to look at all million data points that I have and try to find some meaning in it. I need to lean on something that's going to enable me to find meaning in that data, okay? And what does that mean? When it comes to a message perspective, when it comes to a simple, what do I get in my inbox, right? So let's take, for example, something called incentive recommendations, okay? I incentivize people to come back and buy my product. What does that mean? As a marketer, I come up with the concept behind the incentive. I say, okay, let's start off with a couple of different groups. I say, I have a group that doesn't receive a discount, I've got a group that receives a 10% discount, and I've got a group that receives a 20% discount. Then I rely on the machine to say, which of my customer base is going to fall into each of those different discount levels, right? How does it do that? It does it based on previous purchase history from you or I or whoever the customer is, as well as people that are like you or me or whoever our customer is, and then it decides on which group you are best to fit into based on whether or not you are going to purchase. So you might be most likely to purchase something with a 20% discount, whereas me, I may come back and not purchase based off no discount. I might just come back and purchase in any case. So as a marketer, I'm getting the personalized message into the database, or out to our database, and at the same time, I'm also saving my company money, right? So we're saving revenue. How? By deciding, okay, instead of you getting a 20% discount, you might get a 0% discount.
I'm always the one that doesn't get the discount, but
yeah.
What does this mean in 5 years' time? Am I just going to be overwhelmed by data, or are you trying to make the whole thing more simple and let the creative drive the data and the marketing?
Absolutely. So the point is, and I've mentioned this before, this human-driven personalization doesn't scale, okay? I can't hammer that home enough, right? With that, going forward into the future, of course, more data is going to be coming onto us, right? As we go forward into the future, there's going to be, let's say, 10 million data points today. There'll be 100 million data points in 5 years from now, okay? But it's about taking that data and interpreting it via the systems that we use in order to come up with executions that actually make sense to the person receiving the message. right? And then we'll get to the point where we'll have this creative renaissance for a marketer. We'll have the point, instead of a marketer standing there and building out this massive automation center with lots of different nodes and modules in it, say send email A today. If they don't open email A, send email B tomorrow. If they don't open email B, send email C the next day. If they don't open any of this, send an SMS. We're going to move past that point whereby it's as easy as a marketer coming up with the creative strategy behind it, coming up with a revenue strategy behind it, and then simply flicking the on button.
Hello, I'm James Wright. Thanks for watching Marketing Media Money. To check out more online videos, just click on the boxes and don't forget to subscribe to the CNBC Live channel at the bottom of the screen.